This stuff lights your fireman, the pilot lights out.
This football team is coming into our place. We're standing in our way.
This is a game of the heart. Focus and finish.
So what did you think of the Eagles' no-huddle offense last night? I thought it was fun to watch. I got a kick out of watching the guys holding the yard markers trying to make it down the field for the next play after anything more than like 20 yards. And here's the deal. Chip Kelly's offense is fantasy friendly. At Oregon last year, Kelly's no-huddle offense averaged more than 82 plays per game and left opposing defenses sucking air with its relentless pace. In the NFL, teams average between 64 and 65 plays a game, and league leaders usually average between 68 and 69. Now, last year's Patriots team averaged an aggressive 74 plays, and they led the league with nearly 428 yards of offense per game. Last night, Philadelphia reeled off 77 plays, and if you're wondering, that was 7 more than the Redskins. More plays doesn't guarantee anything really, but it means more opportunity for stats. So whether you have Shady McCoy, Vick, DeSean Jackson, or Brent Celek, they're all going to get more than their share of opportunity for success. It'll be interesting to see how effective this offense is in the second half of the season when teams have plenty of tape on them. Those of you concerned about the stat lines of RG3 and Alfred Morris, they're two separate things. As you saw last night, Griffin just isn't going to take off and run this season like he did last year. He'll still be a mobile quarterback and more mobile than the average quarterback, but I don't expect to see him reeling off 80-yard runs down the sidelines. Now, part of that is because of his knee, and the other part is that he's in his second year as a starter, and he's going to see opportunities to deliver the ball that he missed last season when he just tucked it and ran. Now, that may be good for the Redskins, but it's not really good for your fantasy team. If you were looking for a guy who's just going to light it up on the ground from the quarterback position, that would be somebody like Terrell Pryor. He's not going to be able to read the field so well, so he'll tend to tuck it and run more often. That and his line is awful, so he's going to be flushed from the pocket on nearly every play and going to have to run. As for Alfred Morris, look, the fumble didn't help, but part of his lack of meaningful production was the way the game went. He only ran the ball 12 times, right? So he went for 45 yards and a TD. Had he run the ball for 24 times and went for 90 yards and 2 TDs, he'd be looking at it differently today. On the injury front, Dez Bryant's MRI showed that he suffered a mild sprain of his foot, and although he's not likely to practice much this week, he'll be in there for week 2 against the Chiefs. Those of you emailing me panicking because you're seeing that Reggie Bush exited Sunday's game with injuries to his groin and his thumb can relax. This is football. If you're not banged up after a game, it means you didn't play much. He'll be fine. He's not going to miss any time. He'll be in there this week. Giants coach Tom Coughlin stated yesterday that despite David Wilson's fumbling issues and inability to help in pass protection, he's going to run him out there again this week. To which Eli's response was, "Oh. Look, at this point, they really don't have a choice. There just isn't anyone else on the roster at the moment who's any better. If he doesn't get his act together soon, they're going to have to bring a veteran in off the street." At Squiggly wants to know, Mike, what are you hearing? Will Danny Amendola play this week against the Jets? Well, Squiggly, from what I understand, he wasn't spotted on the field at the start of Pat's practice walkthrough this morning, and the Patriots aren't practicing in pads this week. So the walkthroughs are vital for the installation of the game plan. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's hard to imagine any player playing in the game if they don't participate or at least observe the walkthrough of the game plan, right? Just one thing of note to point out from the Houston Chargers game last night. I mentioned things might go like this before the season started, and the hate mail I got was unreal. Look, I don't make the news, I just report it. It is what it is. Adrian Foster had 18 carries for 57 yards last night. And Ben Tate had 9 carries for 55 yards. My point? Foster may not be the guy you thought he was going to be, and Tate may not be the guy you thought he was going to be either. So if you're looking for a handcuff, lock those two guys up. If you have a question you want answered here on the show, shoot me a tweet. I won't be able to get to all of them here on the show, but if not, I'll tweet you back with my best advice. And be sure to tune in to the Roto Experts Fantasy Football News, Notes, and Analysis segment every weekday. I'll be here to keep you current and ahead of the competition, and on weekends, come back for This Week in Fantasy Football as I team up with the King, Scott Engel, covering the week that was, the week that will be, and answering your viewer questions. For Roto Experts, I'm Mike Cardano. See you tomorrow.